Good morning. Welcome to the channel Living the Dream. Tom's the cat. It's named after Tom rather than myself. It's not all about me, but living the dream is something that over the last definitely 6 years, a lot of people have said to me when I described how I live and what I'm going to tell you now, what I've been doing. They say, oh, you're living the dream. But the last 6 years, since I embarked on a completely low impact, off-grid, no-grid, sustainable permaculture, which I interpret as trying to self-generate everything, so never buying in any compost for your plants, trying to save your seeds after you've purchased your first initial seeds, maybe in the interest of low impact, sustainable, eco living. And that's why this series, I'm trying to think what to call it. I could call it low impact, off-grid, self-sufficiency, blah, blah, blah. But a bit long-winded. And obviously we need that clickbait, don't we? For the captions, for the thumbnails. So we're going to call it How We Survived the Future. Because as a lot of you probably already know, if you sort of tuned into this channel or it's been suggested to you by your algorithms because you watch others, eco-sustainable, off-grid kind of living stuff, bushcraft, survival, and possibly, I don't know what I'm going to hashtag everything as, but as you know, how we lived in the past was sustainable. How we're living in mass, shall we say, westernized communities, shall we say, or civilizations, is unsustainable. What I'm going to show you, I don't want it to seem like an aspirational dream, and going back to one of my, I suppose, inspirations, or kind of inspirations for this, and one of the references I took a lot of inspiration and encouragement from, I suppose, I'm trying to look for the right word, to find it in a minute, was the John Seymour's Complete Guide to Self-Sufficiency. And I remember, I think it was the Sunday Times, there's a quote on the back cover, the original back cover, and it was saying an aspirational dream of living. Well, it's not going to be an aspirational dream of living. It's going to be the only way we will be able to live going forward. I'm not saying that we will have to live in the middle of a wood, but even your modern buildings will have to have composting toilet systems. You won't be able to flush all of these poisons down the sink anymore, down the toilet, and that's where they all go. And this is, I'm going to also address on this series a few of the myths and the controversial issues that are put forward about living sustainably and off-grid by people who probably don't want you to do that because of commercial interests. And that's not the government's. I'm not into this big brother controls everything. It's all about working and learning off of the animals. So, you know, learning how to hunt by the other animals, learning how to live outside, looking at the other animals. All of the clues are there. They've been doing it for millions of years. We're quite newcomers to the party as far as evolution, aren't we? But yeah, so hopefully I'm going to show you now over the next year, not the stuff that went wrong. I wish I filmed. No, I don't wish. A lot of people say, why didn't you film the last 6 years from when you built the cabin, and you've actually lived there as opposed to researching, practicing, and going forward to be able to write this book, do this series on the kind of modern low impact self-sufficiency. John Seymour's modern guide is going to be, because he didn't have solar when John wrote that book, and lots of other things. Possibly he did. I mean, we had it on calculators, but it's come a long way. Stay tuned. This year I'm going to show you what went right. We'll talk about what went wrong, but what went wrong is not here. So it's easy for me now. People are saying you take loads of notes. I don't take notes. I'm dyslexic. It all goes up here. I've got kind of a photographic sort of memory for, you know, one of those people, I suppose. Stay tuned. Please like, subscribe, and share this. This is a new channel for me. It won't be funded by YouTube, whatever people think, until there's thousands and thousands and thousands of subscribers, millions of views. Okay, so down below is a link for buying me a coffee, and then there'll be a link for my Patreon page. So if you want to support me, I'm not expecting you to. This is just how I live. It's supported by, and has been, as I should say. That's the most difficult thing. That's one thing we'll talk about. I've still had to do my day job for the last 6 years, especially, as I say, when I've looked at this and tried to approach this as a subject, not only for when the shop's shut and people say to me, oh, you know, are you a prepper, are you paranoid? This has been through the lockdown, obviously. I say the last 6 years, so you can imagine I was quite well placed in that. I was saying I was, besides not having any help and no one coming in, I was hopefully going to run courses on being able to do this. But anyway, it's all going to be on video, and by the end of the year we should be able to somehow make that into a book, and people would be saying, oh, AI has scraped this and someone else would do it. They can, as long as the information gets out there, but it won't have my name on it anyway. And I think we should start looking at who is the creator of stuff going forward, so we can see if it has been done by AI or has it been done by the original creator. Anyway, buy me a coffee, subscribe to the Patreon if you can. If you can't, don't worry, save your money. And hopefully by watching this, you'll learn some gypsy saving tips on just how, when I say sustainable, means reusing, and one man's rubbish is another man's gold. How we survive the future. Stay tuned.